I caught my wife cheating with her gym trainer, and instead of asking for forgiveness, she demanded a divorce and half of everything. But little did she know I pulled the Hakimi method, and now she's raging because she's walking away with nothing. I'm a 35-year-old accountant, been working at a local firm for almost 10 years. I've always been pretty level-headed, and I guess that's why I'm able to stay calm through all of this. I'm married to Kathy, who's 33. We've been together for 5 years, married for 2. No kids, which, looking back, is probably a blessing. Kathy hasn't worked since we got married. She used to be in marketing, but after we tied the knot, she wanted to take a break and focus on us. I didn't mind. I make enough to support both of us. We've got a house, decent savings, nothing extravagant but comfortable. Lately, things started to change. Kathy began acting distant. She'd stay out longer at the gym or with friends. She stopped being affectionate and would get defensive when I asked what was going on. At first, I chalked it up to a rough patch, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. One evening, while Kathy was in the shower, her phone buzzed. Out of reflex, I glanced at it. It was from a guy named Zane. "Can't wait to see you tomorrow, babe," it read. I opened it. She'd been seeing Zane, her gym trainer, for months. The texts were explicit, full of plans for a future that didn't involve me. I sat there frozen. The woman I married was cheating on me, but instead of rage, I just felt numb. Maybe it was shock, but I knew I had to confront her without losing my cool. When she came out, I calmly handed her the phone and asked her to explain. She tried to deny it, but when I read the text back to her, she realized there was no point in lying. "I want a divorce," she said, with no remorse. No apology, nothing. She admitted she'd been seeing Zane and wasn't happy anymore. Then she started talking about dividing assets. She wanted half of everything. The house, the savings, everything. She even said she deserved it because she'd sacrificed her career to support mine. I stayed calm, so I agreed. I told her if she wanted a divorce, I wouldn't fight. She could have half of what she thought I had. She looked surprised, probably expecting a fight or emotional breakdown. What Kathy didn't know was that almost all our assets were in my dad's name. Years ago, when I started making decent money, he suggested I put major assets under his name as a safeguard. Debts, lawsuits, or as it turns out, a cheating spouse. At the time, it just seemed like smart financial planning. When Kathy demanded half of everything, I knew she wouldn't get what she expected. On paper, I didn't have much, just a modest bank account, a car, and odds and ends. The house belonged to my dad. The savings, also under his control. I suggested mediation. She agreed, clearly thinking she'd walk away with a significant chunk. Little did she know. I looped my dad in. We consulted with a lawyer to ensure everything was airtight and legally sound. Everything was in perfect order. Kathy could demand all she wanted, but there wasn't much in my name to take. Kathy hired an aggressive divorce attorney. I hired a low-key but reputable lawyer who specialized in cases like mine. The first step was asset disclosure. I laid everything out as required by law. But when she saw how little was actually in my name, her lawyer's confident grin faltered. She started berating me, calling me names, and accusing me of lying. But I provided everything I had. After accusations and raised voices, I left. Her lawyer hired a forensic accountant, thinking I'd stashed money in hidden accounts. But after going over everything with my lawyer, there was nothing they could find. As the investigation dragged on, you could see frustration building on Kathy's face. She was used to getting what she wanted, but this time there was nothing. She tried arguing that she'd contributed to my career by staying home and managing the household. But I'm a mid-level accountant. My job's been stable for years. There was no meteoric rise she could point to. Then she got desperate. She started telling everyone I'd been hiding money, that I'd been financially abusive. She posted vague comments on social media about narcissistic partners. Some people sided with her, but most friends knew better. Meanwhile, Zane's reaction made it interesting. When Kathy told him she wanted to leave me for him, he seemed all for it. But once things got messy, Zane pulled back. He wasn't as invested as she thought. Word got out he started losing gym clients over the scandal. People don't want a trainer known for getting involved with married women. Now Zane's distancing himself from Kathy, and she's realizing neither her fantasy new life nor her big payday are happening.